Hey guys, Gav Morgan here, Presence Team with Herbalife. I want to give you guys a little hopefully precise, hopefully simple training on how to get the supervisor using lines. But I'm going to show you a couple of things about so you fully understand how to get the supervisor and then hopefully get you thinking about doing it in lines and thinking, wow, who do you know, who do you know, who do you know? And what this will do, guys, will get you going really fast, okay? Because you arrive at supervisor not with just yourself, but with people, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 people, okay? So this is the key for it. But I just want to quickly say the best way to get the supervisor as fast as you can. Now, that might be in 1 week. It might be in 1 month. It might be 2 months. For some people, it might be 7 months. That doesn't matter, guys. You just got to get to supervisor. But obviously, the fastest you can get there, then the better, okay? So, but today what we're going to talk about is getting the supervisor using lines. Now, the first example I want to give you is, let's look at the 1 month method, okay? Now, this is Bob. He recruits Jane. And Bob does 500 volume points in the first month, and Jane does 4,000 personal volume points. Okay, so who's supervisor here? Have they gone supervisor in a line? Well, the answer is no. The only one that's supervisor is Jane. The reason for that is because you have to have 5,000 volume points for 2 people to go supervisor together. The reason being, if the best way to talk about it is you have 4,000 for one person, because to get to supervisor, you need 4,000 volume points. But there's a little loophole that Herbalife let you do. You only need another 1,000 for 2 to go to supervisor together. So you've got to have a total of 5,000 between 2 people. Now, Herbalife actually don't care if it was Bob that did 200 and, 2,000, Jane does 3,000. They don't care about the combination, okay? But the most important point here is 1,000 volume points must be unencumbered. Now, this is why Bob is not a supervisor in this scenario I'm showing you here. Now, what does unencumbered mean? It means that at least 1,000 volume points is not used by another person to get to supervisor. Now, in this case, Bob would have to use 3,500 volume points of Jane's to get to supervisor. So therefore, he's only got 500 that are unencumbered. So it's only 500 volume points that are his own or not Jane's. Therefore, he's only got 500 that's unencumbered. Therefore, this is why in this scenario, only Jane becomes a supervisor. I hope I made sense of that. Now, this is the second scenario where they will both go supervisor in this one. So Bob has a crack in the first month. There's 2,000 volume points. Jane does 3,000 volume points. Now they are both supervisors. Why? Because there's 5,000 volume points between the 2 of them. And there's 1,000 unencumbered. In fact, there's 2,000 unencumbered here, guys. But you only need 1,000, okay? And they both got supervisor. So brilliant. Tick. Bob and Jane now arrive the next month as supervisor, and they can start building a team. But this is the beauty. Bob already has a team. He already has someone who he can build royalties from straight away the next month as they go supervisor. Now, I want to give you another scenario, just a couple of different volume point scenarios so you can see how it works. Jane's 2,000, Bob's 2,000, okay? Only Bob becomes supervisor here. Why? Because there's not enough volume to branch out to go across the 2. Remember, you have to have 5,000 volume points, okay? But here, Bob goes supervisor because he can use the 2,000 downline from Jane. He's definitely got the 1,000 volume points unencumbered, okay? And he's done a total of 4,000 volume points. So Bob becomes supervisor in this scenario. Let's look at another scenario. There's Bob and Jane and Bill, okay? So look at this. There's 2,000, 3,000, 1,000. So between the 3 of them, they've done 6,000 volume points. Now the rule is you've got to have 4,000 volume points for one person. But you know the beauty is for every extra person added on that month, you only need 1,000 volume points. So you really only need 6,000 volume points. So both Bob, Jane, and Bill all become supervisors this way. There must be a total of 6,000 volume points between 3 people. So the way I look at it is 4,000 plus 1,000 for every extra person, okay? So, for example, if there was 4, you would need 7,000 volume points, okay? If there was 5, you needed 8,000 volume points. And don't worry about the mix. Herbalife take care of that. The only thing you've got to understand, there has to be a minimum of 1,000 unencumbered, okay? Which is really important to understand. So you've got to have you've got to have volume points, right? that is not being used by other people to get to supervisor, okay? So here, hence there's 1,000 there, there's 3,000, 2,000, they've all got 1,000 volume points. It's not being used by other people to get to supervisor. Boom, there's 1,000 unencumbered, okay? Now let's look at another scenario. Month 1, Bob, Jane and Bill don't get off to the cracking start they did that other example, but they did 1,000 volume points each. Now this is the ripper thing now with the doing the 4,000 over 1 month or 2 months, which includes an unencumbered situation. You can actually spread this over 2 months. So formerly we used to have to do this in 1 month, but look at this, you can do the 6,000 over 2 months. So you find two people. So here's the scenario. Bob finds Jane, Jane finds Bill. They get really, really excited. Let's say they have a shake party each. They all do 1,000 volume points. The next month, the same thing happens. They do another shake party, another 1,000 volume points each. Boom, they all go supervisor. They all go supervisor. All three are supervisor after the 2 months. There's 1,000 volume points that's unencumbered. There's 4,000 plus 1 for every person. So there's a total of 6,000 volume points. But this could happen in the 2 scenarios as well, guys. So if you had, if you had only just 2 people and it totaled up to 5,000 over 2 months, tick, then you both become supervisor, okay? So it can be 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. You get the idea, guys, but don't miss this. You can spread it over 2 months. So if some people, and these volumes are very nice and simple and all in order, but it can be 6,000, so it totals up. So imagine this one did 5 and 500 and the other guys did more, it would still come that they would both be, all 3 would be supervisors, okay? So what I want to do is just get you thinking about, wow, someone's had a reasonable start, they've got 2 people, let's talk to them about this option so they can finish it off next month and get the business off to a really, really fast start. So let's look at this scenario. Month 1, Bob does 500, he gets Jane, Jane gets a good start, does a shake party, 500, Jane finds Bill, Bill has a cracking start, he gets really good, feels fantastic on the products, gets 1,000 volume points, okay? Then we've got next scenario. Bob does 500. Jane is now cranking 1,500 because Bill got her excited. Bill does another 1,000 volume points, okay? And then let's look at this. What's happened now? So both Bob and Jane become supervisors after 2 months. Why is that? Because you look at, let's look at Bob. He's got 500, 500, plus another 500, another 1,000, all right? So that's 2,500. 1,500 is, 4,000. 5,000 volume points he's got. He only needs 4. He only needs to have 1,000 that's unencumbered. He's done his 1,000, 500, 500, so Bob's now supervisor. Jane, the same thing. Jane's totaled up 4 in her personal and her first level. She's done at least 1,000 unencumbered. They qualified in 2 months by doing 4,000 volume points. But this is the beauty. Bill doesn't, but he can finish it off next month. He can even finish off after 4th month. But let's say now, look at this. Bob and Jane are supervisors. Bob's getting royalties from Jane. Jane helps Bill do 2,000. Boom. Bill becomes a supervisor after 3 months. So you've got a line. It took 3 months, but Bob and Jane took a couple of months, okay? But you're thinking about it all the way. So what I'm trying to do is get your thinking caps on and go, wow, this could happen. Look at this stuff, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios of how this would look, just to give you different examples, okay? Let's say Bob and Jane did nothing, but you found Bill and you worked with Bill and Bill got 1,000 volume points. And then the second month, Bob and Jane did nothing. And you worked with Bill again, you got another 1,000 volume points. Then you get on the phone and you go, Bob and Jane, you're not going to believe this, Bill will be supervisor soon. And if he gets a supervisor, you need to start doing something or he'll roll up to me. So you've got to start doing some volume. You've got to start getting some customers, getting some members, probably eating some product would be a start because we're on 0 volume points, okay? And this is what can happen. They do 500, 500, 500 in the month 3. Bill does his 1,000 again, okay? He's steady as he goes, Bill's. The 4th month, Bill's now cranking just 2,000, but Bob and Jane have both done another 500. So what happens here? Bill's accumulators that way they're over 4 months, right? But Bob and Jane become supervisor in the last 2 months. So again, it's a line, different scenario, but after 4 months, they're all supervisors. How cool is that? Let's look at another scenario, okay? 500,000, 1,000 the first month, 500,000, 1,000. Month 3, is Bob was supervisor. So let's look at this. Month 3, okay, Bob became a supervisor. I'll go back just so we can see that again. So 500, 1,000, 500, 500,000. So all you need to do, remember, to get supervisor in 2 months is to have 4,000 volume points and have 1,000 that's unencumbered. So let's add up what Bob's has. Bob has 2.5 here, and he has 3, so 3.5, 4.5. Okay, so he's got 2 there, 2.5. So Bob himself has got 4.5, right? He's done his 1,000, therefore, boom, the square, Bob becomes supervisor. Now, Jane and Bill keep going on. So what's happened here? Look at this. Jane's done a 2,000, 3,000, 3.5, 4,000, 4.5. So the next month, Jane is supervisor. So Jane is supervisor, see? She's done the 4,000, 1,000's unencumbered, and Bill, 1, 2, 3, 4, he'll become supervisor. So he's actually qualifying supervisor here, but he'll become a fully qualified supervisor at the end of the month. So he's really a supervisor here. I probably should have put a square there because he's done his 1,000, but I hope you get the thinking. I'm just getting you scenarios to think about it. Bill's accumulated his way over 4 months. Jane's accumulated way over 3 months. Bob did it over 2 months. This is the great stuff here, guys. I just wanted to get you thinking. I'll stop the screen share there. Is get you thinking about what people are doing, what can they do in terms of lines. But the first thing we have to think is, who do you know, who do you know, who do you know? You need those people happening first, and then you look at some volumes and go, wow, okay, this is how it's going to work, and start pitching that to your team. So this is not something that a brand new supervisor needs to know. This is not something that a brand new world team need to get caught up with. But if you're an active world team or a global expansion team and above, you need to be mindful of this stuff, okay, so that you can look out for it and fine-tune it and make it happen. Now, an example was Harriet McClarty, Pederick, sorry, gone back a couple of years there, Harry Pederick just had a supervisor go in line 3, and the same thing happened. It was virtually that same one where the person accumulated over 3 months, and in the last 2 months, the person, the one at the top and then the next one, they did it in a 2-month method. But the person who's doing all the volume accumulated over 3 months, okay? And so how it worked is the people above had 1,000 unencumbered, boom, all 3 went supervisor. But Harry was all over this. She actually contacted him and she said, you know what, this girl Steph is just doing so well underneath. You need to have a look at this. And if you can do this sort of volumes, get some customers, get your members going, you'll get the supervisor as well. You'll get the 50%. So if you have this knowledge, then you can have this conversation, guys. So I hope that helps. I hope I didn't rush it too much. I hope it generates conversation. If you need a hand explaining anything, please let me know. But just don't miss this stuff. It can really get you cranking fast. Thanks, guys. Have a fantastic one.